Hey everybody, Rob Maurer here. Welcome back to Tesla Daily. Today we have an exciting update on the Tesla bot, or Optimus, to talk about. Also got updates on Giga Texas, the Cybertruck, and a few other items as well. Not a bad start to the week for Tesla stock, finishing up about 0.9% on the day today, closing at $246.99. The Nasdaq up just a little bit less than 0.5% on the day. Alright, so the big news for today is an update on Optimus, or the Tesla bot program, from Tesla directly. They've posted a video that's just over 1 minute long demonstrating Tesla's current capabilities with Optimus. So kind of an out-of-the-blue update, but really nice to see the progress and see the developments that Tesla has made, a number of which are demonstrated here, including Optimus's capability to sort individual objects autonomously, which might only look cool if you actually understand what is going on here, because it's pretty crazy. So Tesla on X says that this is using a neural network that is fully end-to-end trained. So video in to the neural network and then controls out. So just like FSD version 12. Tesla's senior staff engineer for the Optimus program on X shared, quote, "Super excited to share our team's progress over the last few months. We can now accomplish long horizon tasks such as sorting blocks fully autonomously in a completely task agnostic way. Just collect more data, and we can train a new complex task without changing any code," end quote. So we see this demonstrated in the video, first with the bot sorting different colored blocks into different colored trays, which is already impressive enough because this is the bot responding to a prompt to do that, rather than being explicitly coded to complete that specific task. That is a fundamental difference that dramatically changes the adaptability of Tesla bot to be able to handle different situations. So, for example, in this video, not only does the Tesla bot sort these blocks by color, it also is able to then unsort them, grab them from the trays, and put them back. That is, again, not any explicit code to do that, it's just given a prompt and then it completes it. This is again noted by Tesla staff engineer saying, quote, "Yes, it can be prompted. The same network is used in this video to sort or unsort the blocks. You just tell it what you want," end quote. Now, the prompt may not necessarily be natural language today, but with large language models like we have seen with ChatGPT, obviously that's something that's achievable. And then to complete the prompt, Optimus is obviously going to have to be trained on that task, but that is what Tesla is demonstrating here, that is also achievable. If a wide variety of tasks can be achieved, such as sorting the blocks, unsorting the blocks, etc., with the exact same neural network with just more training, you can start to see how quickly this could become something that is highly effective at a wide variety of different tasks. If and when that starts to be the case, which I think will be a lot quicker than people realize, then all of a sudden there's a market for this product. Maybe one company needs it to sort, maybe another company needs it to unsort, maybe yet another company needs it to do some other similarly difficult task, and on and on. And even if those companies don't necessarily need it for versatility specifically for their own use cases, the fact that that versatility exists within the same product, within the same code base, makes it extremely scalable, which at the same time makes it much more affordable through economies of scale, and that only increases the possible market. If things go well, that can quickly become a pretty viciously positive cycle. And just like FSD, Optimus is something that's going to get better over time over the air. So let's just make up an example. Let's just say you buy a Tesla bot and you've got it, sitting in your living room and it's sorting blocks on day one. Maybe a month later, it's sorting laundry. Maybe a month after that, it's loading and unloading laundry. Next, it's loading and unloading the dishwasher. Next, it's doing dishes, and so forth from there. All with the same hardware, all with really the same software, but with more training as Tesla collects that data, and not only collects it, but also trains it through the NVIDIA cluster or through Dojo. So it's hard to overstate how exciting it is to hear that Optimus is now running on an end-to-end neural network and is able to complete tasks like this, no matter how simple they may be, because it shows what can be done on this architecture. And this video actually demonstrates a lot. It demonstrates really good dexterity in the hands of Optimus. It seems to have a good understanding of pressure based on how it interacts with those blocks, which is even more impressive when you again remember that this is end-to-end neural networks. There's nothing in the code telling it how much pressure to apply. It's just learned that through observation. The bot also shows really good coordination and balance. We've seen that come a long way in a short period of time, and that's really fun to see. If you watch the video closely, you can see how all the different pieces of the bot interact to keep those things going, to keep it smooth. Even just using its arms to move these blocks around, you can see the motion in the legs, you can see the motion in the hips. All of those things subtly working together just like they would for a human. Of course, the perception is obviously very exciting here, sorting these blocks by color, though the blocks are different shapes, you might notice. But that shows nice perception. They also have a Tesla engineer moving the blocks around, and the bot reacts to that very smoothly, no problems at all. There's also a time where one of the blocks falls on its side, and the bot actually corrects that. which presumably it's correcting autonomously without being told to do so because it knows from training that that's not how it's supposed to be. Just a little 1-second part of the video, but again, pretty mind-blowing if you think about it closely. So a lot of good things there with perception, and then there's also proprioception, which is the other quote-unquote sensory input outside of vision for the Tesla bot. So this has to do with the state of all of the different actuators and parts for Tesla bot, which making it analogous to a human would be its sense of its own body. For example, with a human, you can close your eyes or be in the dark or whatever and still interact with the things around you, still have a sense of where things are at. That's proprioception, and that's again called out by Tesla staff engineer as a part of what we were seeing here. So again, it looks easy, but that's going into what we're seeing with the coordination, the balance, the dexterity. There's a degree of self-awareness that goes into all of those things. So really fun and exciting to see these developments. I also think it's worth a reminder of some of Elon's comments on the Q2 earnings call. He said that Tesla would have all in-house production candidate actuators ready to go for a Tesla bot in November. So we're not quite there yet, but pretty soon. And Elon said that they would start ramping production after that. That may just be for the actuators, but may also be for the Tesla bot. Elon said that he believes that they'll have Optimus doing something useful in the factories next year. All right, last couple of things on this. Of course, there were some people on X speculating that there was some CGI involved in this. Again, Tesla engineer commenting saying, you know you're doing cool stuff when some people think that what you're doing is CGI. So presumably none of that here. I think maybe people getting a little bit mixed up by the speed of the clips, which Tesla does note is at 1.5 times speed, so a 50% increase, which is clearly noted in the video and makes a lot of sense to do if you're demonstrating something like moving some blocks around, especially in the ever shorter attention span society that we seem to be living in. All right, moving on from Tesla bot, we've got a couple updates on Giga Texas from Joe Tegmeyer. He is saying that all employees are now back at work today. Doesn't mean that production is fully back up to speed immediately, but sounds like that's expected to be the case next week. So that is nice to see. And then Joe also spotted a couple of new Cybertrucks out there, one of which looks like has plastic wrap on the seats, which I think is obviously a good sign that we may be getting closer to vehicles that are prepped for delivery. There was kind of an interesting thing that happened over the weekend with the Cybertruck reservations that people had. Sounds like early reservation numbers are no longer seeing their specific configuration on their reservation, whereas later reservation numbers can still see that. Doesn't necessarily mean anything, but maybe Tesla in there playing around with some things, which speculatively could mean some things being put in place to convert those reservations to orders, but we'll just have to wait and see. Also at Giga Texas today, the president of Hungary announced that she met with Elon Musk at the factory. Sounds like they initially intended to meet at the Budapest Demographic Summit, but that didn't work out. So Giga Texas instead. Not a whole lot more information here, but the president did say that there would be more details tomorrow. Nevertheless, Elon's meetings with world leaders continue. Next up, we've got a quick update on Tesla's VPP or Virtual Power Plant program in California. I missed this last week, but Tesla has expanded the VPP program to San Diego. So Powerwall customers there can now sign up for the VPP if they would like and potentially earn a little bit of revenue from doing so. All right, next up, we've got a couple updates on other automakers, particularly Ford. Last week, we had talked about the status of negotiations for the Auto Workers Union in Canada with Ford. Those negotiations over the weekend were officially completed as the union has voted to ratify an agreement with Ford for a 3-year contract, which will include a 10% wage increase in the first year and then 2 and 3% increases in the second and third year, among various other terms of the contract. So as we had talked about, Ford actually avoided, at least for the time being, further strikes in the US, as the UAW said that they were making a decent effort. And they're now the first to reach an agreement in Canada, though the negotiations there seem to be a little bit more sequential rather than all at once, like we are seeing the UAW employ in the US. In the US, we do have a report from the Detroit News today that Ford has announced that they have halted the construction of the $3.5 billion battery factory project that they had announced back in February. We talked about this at the time. This was the one that was going to be done in partnership with CATL for lithium iron phosphate batteries in Michigan. At the time, Ford had said that this would produce approximately 35 gigawatt hours of batteries per year, enough for about 400,000 Ford EVs. At the time, Ford said that this would begin production in 2026. As to the current status with this update today, a Ford spokesman told the Detroit News that, quote, "We're pausing work and we're going to limit spending on construction at Marshall until we're confident about our ability to competitively run the plant," end quote. All right, I mean, certainly not the most inspiring comment there, and this is not the first time, even in the last few months, that we have seen a pretty significant adjustment in their guidance around their EV business. Remember back in July, they updated their 600,000 production target from this year to next year. They guided for greater losses on the EV business this year. And they also changed their 2 million vehicle production target, which was previously 2026, to whenever. They're not sure now. So now, after only a couple of quarters after making this announcement, and by the way, talking about how many jobs this created, not even will create, this creates 2,500 jobs, they say. Now it's paused before probably even really getting started, and they're not confident in their ability to run it competitively. Now, maybe this relates to the UAW negotiations. Obviously, the timing is interesting in that regard. This could even be a negotiation tactic in some way, or maybe a repercussion of how the negotiations are unfolding. So pretty big deal here, and this will be an interesting one to keep an eye on. The Ford spokesman also said that, quote, "We haven't made a final decision about the investment there," end quote. So presumably more to come on this, and I would imagine that this is a topic for the next earnings call if there's not more information out before then. All right, last item for today, just kind of a quick and subtle update from SpaceX on the number of Starlink subscribers. Starlink on X posted that they now connect more than 2 million active customers and counting with high-speed internet. So congratulations to SpaceX for crossing that 2 million customer threshold, right around 9 months after that 1 millionth customer mark was surpassed last December. All right, that'll wrap it up for today then. As always, thank you for listening. Make sure you're subscribed and signed up for notifications. You can also find me on X at Tesla Podcast, and we'll see you tomorrow for the Tuesday, September 26th episode of Tesla Daily. Thank you.